All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank God it's Monday. Doc here from North America. Another fun-filled day. You can see the euro up on the screen there. Let's see what we got going on here. Can I hear me? Can we hear me? Yep, I hear me. Cool. All right. As you can see there, the euro inching its way up constantly. Nothing major, just constantly slow, steady drag in that direction. We've been now. Oh, where's the check sheet? Right there, the fact check Excel sheet shows us cable. The euro is now 9 weeks in a buy. Oh joy, 4 days in a buy. Oh double joy. You can see right here, all that is moving up. You can see in the white line on the J4X moving up. All nice there. Go over to the Chicago Quant. Same situation. So we've got these things working relatively well now. Like I said, I think no more than 25 or 30% off the J4X now to my work, which is really good. It's about as close as I can get as far as I can tell, but I'll just keep on trying. See if we can get some public indicators that match a little bit better. But right now, this is it. All right, now, what else can we say about this? Just that it's been a slow, steady burn. Let's see if we can make this a little bit tighter, right? Yeah. Right there. There we go. So you can see the weekly buy number back down in this area here. And there's your daily buy. There's the weekly and the daily buy. It's just telling you to be long or you will be wrong. All right. And that's where we are now. And another day I will throw the caveat out to number 54. Remember, try to sell some puts against your long put. And if you want to be neutral, sell some calls against your long call. And unless you've changed your mind and you're going to try to ride the upside down. And that's where it's at. Your deltas are getting in your trouble. But the decay rate, due to the fact that it's grinding up slowly, the theta decay rate could be helping you out a little bit, without a doubt. All right. That is the euro. Now let's take a look at cable. Cable did slide into that weekly buy last week. Remember, traders, you're welcome to ask any question. It's cheaper by a dozen. In other words, you could ask a dozen questions. We like questions. It takes us into the questions got us to this new indicator. Where I've looked at it, I've used it, I tried to incorporate it for a couple of years, and without a doubt, now the way Dukascopy has it set up on the J4X, it is a good tool. It's a really good tool. It's a little laggy, but it is a good tool. It really is. It's better than the MACD as far as I'm concerned. Way better. And the rate of change, you can see here the fast-moving stochastic is obviously a really good tool when it's combined with the slow-moving stochastic. And then when you put the hinky-ashy in there, it definitely helps out. So, all right, now cable, that's line 13. You can see we went into the weekly buy last week, but we're still on daily sells. And you can see it here on J4X. It's still having its issues. Now let's see if we can get it up on this. We got there. Okay, so it's fighting its way through the daily buy now with no problem. Right there was the red and green and red on our bar there. So it's definitely put it into the buy now without a doubt. This could have been bought a couple hours, like 3, 6, 7 hours after this. See how it found a way to open lower and then head down. That's what we talk about in our buy explanation. When you have a red and green dot and histogram and the white line have made it through the zero line, it's like just hesitate 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours before you try to put a position on. Because a lot of times it can knock it down and then lift it back up again. In other words, get used to that old idea. Buy low and sell high. Not buy it high and get higher. On the trading floors, we used to refer to that as buy high, get high. Because you needed to get high buying the high. In other words, it was a risky position. And so that's where we are there. All right. What else can we say about this cable? I guess it's about it. and then again went into a weekly sell after being in a weekly buy from here. Up in here, it went into a sell, went down a little bit. Now it's coming back up again. You can see how J4X is following the nature of that very well. You can see the white line got through the slow-moving stochastic, the dotted line or dashed line, you can say. You see we got green bars there, and so that's that area right there. And like I said, it matches up like 75%, so that is really damn good. All right, who is next? Now, what we do is we normally go and look at... Oh, there are some questions. Quad Z. Hey, what's happening? Where to find the calls and puts in J4X? That, I know where to find the binaries, but I'm not really sure where to find that. You know, talk to your Dukascopy person and see if you can hunt them down. You know, I've seen the J4X in there. We've played around with the J4X binaries, which is basically you're buying bull spreads or, you know, buying put spreads or things like that. So, does that help out at all? And I'm sure someone can jump in. I can go look with you if you want. I can go hunt and peck and paw. Let's see, services maybe. View, strategies. Let's see, settings, help. Let's see what help says. Go to the support chat or a forum and ask them. That would probably be the best place to go for that. I do know they have binaries. I don't know what they have as an individual. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Hi, nice to hear from you. Had exams last week. Oh, really? What were you taking exams on? You know, Doc likes to pretend that he's academic. I like to pretend that a lot. I'm just waiting to see now what he says. Academia always excites me. It's too bad mainstream is off course. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so where are we headed from here? Anybody have anything they want to see? Agricultural stuff, really? I just left the field no more than like 14 minutes ago. You know, we're having lots of heat here. And I was putting in... what was I putting in? I wanted to get some stuff that I had put to the side. You know, I put in more tomatoes yesterday, you know, like about a dozen. And then what was I doing? I was putting in, what's it for the soups? Oh man, what is that? It's like a celery type stalk type thing. Leeks. I was putting in leeks this morning. Now 4th year, cool. Are you like in biology of agriculture, or are you just figuring out how to farm more, or what? I've been farming for decades. I had a conversation with Robin today from Chicago Quant. We were talking about that, about how a lot of the people who go to our site are more into agriculture than anything else. They really do. A lot of them. And I said to them, you know, agriculture, you know, is a business that needs to be hedged all the time. So they would be the ones, like 75% of the people involved in our website are ags. You know, they're farmers. Me, let's see. It's corn, wheat, soybeans, and lately flaxseed. Cool. Hey, did you see that big run-up in oats? About, we always try to look for the currency relationship between the grains, you know? And, but oats ran up, I guess it was about a month ago. Outpaced corn. Now it's back in, you know, it's calmed back down again. But did you guys talk about that at all? I mean, oats were running hot. I mean, they were like 10 cents over corn. That's like me being crazy about platinum over gold, you know? Yeah. Flaxseed. Are you Canadian, Daniel? Flaxseed's big in Canada. All right. Which currency should I go to, guys? I was going to go to the Turkish lira. We could take a peek at that. Shall we do that? Let's take a look at Turkish lira, then we can go from that to Canadian and see if we can see some correlations between oil and Canadian and and all that stuff. But yeah, U.S. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, here we go. There, I'll tell you, this is an enigma as far as I'm concerned. Now you can see this here. This flat line thing has really got me totally confused. And let's go take a look at it through the Chicago Quant. But look at that. That flat line is amazing. I have no idea what's going on there. My last guess was it's some type of agreement between some of the Western central banks and Turkey. That's the only guess I can have. All right, so let's see. You can see on J4X, the fast stochastic is buried down at the bottom, trying to tell us that it wants to go up. Over on J4X, yeah, J4X. Over in Chicago Quant, let's take a look at that. You can see my work right there. It's been lifting up. We got a lot of green dots there. Over the last 5 or 6 days, we've been green dotted. And you can see this is oscillating a little. And this is where it falls underneath the 100% correlation and pushes us into the 75 percentile. You can see here it was 4 days, and then boom, 3 out of 4 days in red. Whereas in our work, you can see all the green there. But and at the same time, you can see the fast-moving stochastic is not matching up very well with our quant there, our daily quant. So this is where it does fall a little under. But you know what? If you don't have me, you didn't get a chance to tune in and watch a replay of me today, this is the second best thing you can do is have a J4X with these parameters in it. Because that'll help you out. That'll give you a fighting chance without a doubt. Now you can see here on line 17, is it? Yeah, 33 weeks now in a weekly buy, 7 days in a buy. Something else, isn't it? I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of issues going on there that confuse the daylights out of me. Like I said, I'm holding with my last one from about 4 days ago, 5 days ago. I think they've got to deal with the central banks. I think you're going to see tough guy, good cop. I guess it is bad cop. You're going to see bad cop first from Aragon, all right? Aragon, and then you'll see. Then it'll be the good guy, and he'll chill. And you might see like Turkish lira, I guess, like dipping. I guess where this is where they're going to flatten it out and hold it, try to hold it. And say to them, look, this is what we can do for you. I don't know. That's the conspiracy theory of it all. So there we are with the Turkish lira. Now, it's holding firm. Let's take a couple peeks at the oil now. And we'll run over to Canadian from there. Okay, so there is, on J4X, you can see there's oil pretty much unchanged too, like a flat line there going on. This is rolling over on the fast-moving Stoke. A couple of reds here, but almost white more. Now let's jump over to Canadian just to get a flavor for it, which usually when the oil is going sideways, usually Canadian is firm, So that would mean it's going down in value. So let's find that right there. There's a little down move right there. We can see just from the prelims. A little green there. Pressure is kind of flattish. We're looking for... just some type of firmness. Again, I guess this is my first warning. This is the July-August dead period. This is where all our maths have issues. Even my work, which is usually in the 90s, can be pushed down into the 70s. So, this is a slow-moving, kind of irrelevant time of the year when it comes to trading. I was talking with somebody that works with a $4 trillion fund. Over the weekend, he was telling me that Thursday. I said, did you? I said to him, did you feel Thursday and Friday how dead it got? And he said, I had all my underlings having problems doing this, that, and the other thing. I was kind of tied up. He says, but he works the back office more, and I said, so you didn't feel it? He says, yeah, I felt it. He says, it was people on vacation. We call people to do something. They're supposed to have finished this or done that, and they're not there, because a lot of people are taking Thursdays and Fridays off and making 4-day weekends out of it. So, it was that flavor last week. I'm sure we're going to see it again this week and the following week and the next following couple of weeks. Where markets are. Matter of fact, he takes off. When does he take off? Him and the kids and his wife go off, I think, in about 2 weeks, 1st of August. So, I mean, basically, they've just become a $4 trillion company. And so, I don't know, he has like 80 or 90 people underneath him. So he has a good, he has a good solid feedback of what's going on. When it comes to how busy or not busy they are. And so I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but they're up to $4 trillion now, so that's pretty cool. So there's the Canadian, and this is the summer, and so traders be cautious. Don't marry any particular position. Take short-term profits. NASCAD. Let's take a look at NASCAD right there. And there's NASCAD trying to lift up. That's the strength that we would think we're seeing. Canadian dollar going down against the dollar. Oil firm or flat, and this should be flat to trying to lift. That's the way I see it. And you can see that on the J4X, you see it's bottomed out, and so that it's trying to hold a bottom spot. It's trying to bottom out in there. All right. So now let's see. We started off at the Turkish. Then we went to the oil. Now we'll slip back to oil again. Let's take a look at oil. Unless everybody wants to get into a conversation about something else, then I will deviate with no issue whatsoever. Doc loves to run to new ideas. And there's the oil again. And let's take a look at it through our work here. And then we'll take a look at the Canadian through our work. Let's look at Canadian. There's Canadian. You can see it's trying to bounce up. It went back into the weekly sell last week. You see it has pressure on it right there. It's lower. But at the same time, you can see our white line and our histogram are trying to lift up. So if we get a green dot out of that today, you might see a weakening of Canadian, which means it'll go up in value. So let's do this. Let's jump over to oil now on our work. That's silver. Look at silver go. Go, silver, go. Robin's been saying that to me for weeks now. We got strength in silver. He sees this pattern that he recognizes. When we were young, Robin would be like, as you enter the exchange floor itself, not the exchange building, but the exchange floor, they used to have this sheet that showed open interest and volume. Robin used to have this saying about too many fish in the net. And when he saw that too much fish in the net, usually meant that the market was going to go down. And he's been saying that he sees not enough fish in the net when it comes to silver. And he saw a triangle pattern that shows strength. And it's tried. I mean, it's tried. He's been talking this since the 17s and a halves, We've written a couple articles together about it recently. I mean, he's it's like, and I'm telling you, I say to him, Robin, this thing's it's going to have to take a machete to fight its way up into the 20s, It just, the central banks sell this stuff. And they make it tough, and you can see it there. It's trying to make a move into the 20s now. It's over $20 an ounce on the futures contract, and you can see all the work is telling us it's at a buy. And there's the weekly, from the 19 area, so it's going up a whole dollar, but it's been grudgingly the way it does it, I mean, it's just like grudgingly going up since the weekly buy. It even threw itself into a daily sell for 2 days. I was like, oh my God, this thing just refuses to rock and roll on the upside. But it's doing it. It's trying. I mean, they are failing at it. I agree with Robin. The idea that this thing has got upwardly strength. And so usually when you see that, you see the oils. Let's go over to oil now. Oil usually has some upwardly strength when you see the metals going up. So, and I guess we're in the 40s there already, and that's the top of our range. It's hard. It's going to take the economy to open up more, and we have all the blue states in the United States with Democrat-controlled states. They're doing their best to keep it closed, so that makes it tough. Now there's September oil. You can see it's trying, and we've been in a weekly buy way, way, way back here. You can see that way, way, way back there. Let's minimize this for a second. And so, I mean, that's way, way, way back there. And you can see we've been a daily buy here. You know, just this last in and out, and it did okay. You know, it jumped up maybe a couple bucks. What did it do? Got up to 41.46 from a close of 40.55. So it went up a buck. You know, and then it's been grudgingly long since. But look at today; it's trying to roll over a little bit in here. If this got going, I would think the metals would get going. I don't know. Yeah, it's the way I always think about it. But and then I guess at the same time, if this is showing weakness, we're going to see a dollar that's a little weak, which is going to put pressure on the euro on the upside. Probably put pressure on the Canadian on the downside, you know, going down in price. So that's where we are. Now, let's see. What was the last one we looked at? Oh, yes. Let's look at NASCAD. Where's that at? NASCAD with our work. Right there. NASCAD. You can see that trying to lift up. To me, it's trying to warn us that it wants to go. I don't know. You know, if it wasn't if it wasn't late July, August, you know, I wouldn't take this market too serious. You know, it's awful hard to take this market. When I mean by serious, that it can be consistent in a trend. You know, lock into a trend, get going with the trend, stay with the trend. You know, in an exciting way. I just don't see that. You know, I just see it going sloppy, choppy. You know, I don't see it any other way. You know, one moment it's up. You know, next thing you know, you see silver trading at 21.5, and the next thing you know, it's 18.5 again. You know, I just don't trust any of the moves at this time of the year. They seem to lose their. We used to call it conviction. They lose their conviction really quick because it's a thin market. You know, I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. There's not a lot of participation, especially when you get past Wednesday. You get past Happy to Hump Day. Hump Day, to some aspect, acts like a Friday. And then what you find is Thursday and Friday you start to become really, you know, Melrose. I mean, really, ugh. And then this is an earnings week when it comes to the stocks. So that could put some little charge into it, but I'm not totally convinced about that. It's awful hard to even take earnings serious with the way some states are functioning and some other states are not functioning. So, all right. Let's see. Where do we leave off from here? I guess what we do is we now try to slide over to Swiss franc. There's Swiss franc. You see the downwardly pressure there, which makes sense. Let's put it up on J4X. So there it is, dollar Swiss, and that's line 21. So now we are 8 weeks in a sell, and we went into the sell again on Friday. And now that's okay. Yeah, so we can take one of these reds and move it over. Let's just move that one right there. And so it's back in the sell again. Back in the cell again. But it isn't really going anywhere. So, yeah, me and my cowboy movies. Oh, I was watching, what was I watching? Wyatt Earp. I was watching the first season of Wyatt Earp. It was a real entertaining. Let's see. That's about it with that. I guess nothing more to be said there. I guess we can jump over to the yen. See what Mr. and Mrs. Yensky are doing. Okay, so it's trying to lift up today. We got a green and a red. We're above the 0 line. Even the weekly is dancing up, which is really cool. And so, what do we got going on here? Let's put it on J4X. Right there. showing the same little firmness there. The bar is white like Friday, so it hasn't really caught a greenie yet, but I'm sure it will. You can see the white line is above both J4X's rate of change and the slow stochastic. So it is trying, that's for sure. It is trying. I'm not sure if there's any conviction there either. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that there doesn't seem to be any conviction, and all we're really doing is looking at I'm going to hesitate, stop what I'm saying, and what this really says is that, and we've done this at times, and then you get some massive move, and then it goes back to dead again. But if you sell the call spreads and sell the put spreads to a lot of this stuff, a lot of times it really works for you if you take it off every 2 days. Just sell it, both of them, and then buy them back again cheaper. And don't try to hold on to them for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Just get in them, get out of them, take your profit, look for a noisy day, and throw them back on again. Set up the strangles. That's what they call them, strangles, because they're way out of the monies, not straddles. And that's what this brings. But usually there's a buildup of crazy. And then what happens is the markets make a big jerky move. Everybody thinks, oh my good, the amateurs do at least. Oh my God, we've got it now. It's starting to run. It's going to go get crashing down, or it's going to go roaring up, and then it sits there again, and looks at you like a dog or one of those cows out in the field going, moo. Like they're not even paying attention. But those big brown eyes say to you, oh my goodness, aren't they wonderful? And they're just so loving. And then they step on your foot because they just don't pay attention. They don't really care about anything. And that's what the markets are trying to tell us now. They just don't care. All right. Let's jump over to, where do we go from here? I guess we'll go over to the gold. Let's take a look at gold, and we're going to take a little bit deeper look at silver. Now that's line 5. Line 6 right there. Whereas oil is 11 weeks in a buy and 4 days in a buy. Gold went into a daily buy yesterday, or on Friday, and at the same time we are what are we? We're in a 6-week buy in the product. You see this thing just keeps on dragging up, and let's go take a look at it through our eyes, our technology. Let's go to it. No, let's try it again. Say okay, and then go right there. You can see it went into the buy on Friday right there. Oh, you can't see it. Right there, it went into the buy Friday. And it's been in a weekly buy from here. And I don't know, we're going to see, if we see a strong gold, do we see a weak dollar? What's that? Oh, yes, you guys did see the oats. Cool. Excellent. Do you, since you're doing ag, are you like paying attention to like John Deere and Massey Ferguson and Caterpillar and things like that? And or we took some GMO corn, some ears of it, and we planted about a dozen in our field for Halloween, just to get stalks and all like that. And I was really impressed with the growth of it, tasseling, the health of it. I watch it all day long. I got, 90 acres across the road, and off the back of the property, another 120 acres of it on given times. So, the GMO stuff is fascinating, the way it grows. And I see it doesn't translate through the milk and so forth on the dairy. So, and it doesn't seem to translate through the beef. But, I don't know. I will eat grass-fed meat when given the chance. Or, usually I buy that. That's what I do. So, but GMOs, when you're living in a country where you don't have that choice, good protein is better than no protein. So, all right. So there is gold showing some strength. Are we going to see weakness in some of the currencies? Hard to say there. Not much. Matter of fact, let me go up a little bit higher. We're 8 weeks in soybeans, and was it J4X has soybeans in there. So let's show you soybeans in J4X, since we're talking ag a little bit here. There it is right there, soybeans. And see, it's over in the $9 area. It's been moving up nice. And you can see this work here. So the traders that are using J4X for the grains, it works very well in there. You see when it broke down here, and you got the reds and all like that, showed weakness. Let's see if we can find it for you here. Right there. Where are you? There it is. November beans. Same situation. And we've been in a buy for, like I said, all the way back to here. And it's tried to fail. You know, it's gone into buy at the $8.50 a bushel. You know, ran up to $8.80 and then rolled over to $8.60 and ran up to, with our daily buy there, which was really cool. It ran up to $9.10, $9.12, something like that. And this is I don't think this is updating. Yeah, it is. Okay, so you can see it right there, just trading right there on the edge, and it's been a daily buy. Went in the daily buy again on Friday, so a little life there again. And that's the grains. How do we see a correlation between the metals and the currencies? You know, people or countries are trying to buy a lot. You know, like if it's soybeans, was it Brazil produces 25% of the world's soybeans, and the United States provides 25% of the world's soybeans. You know, grows them, and I'm not sure what Canada does. Do you know anything about that, Daniel? What's Canada do? I bet Canada's got to be in the 10 or 12% area. They're pretty productive. They got a lot of good fertile land up there. So, but they're really big on like the flaxseed and all that other stuff, you know, and sorghum and oats and, you know, some of the harder stuff, red wheat. But how it relates to the currency is, you know, countries buy this stuff and then they have to get the currency to pay for it. So they have to sell their currency to buy the other currency. All right. Let's see. Where do we go from here? Does anybody have anything they would like to see? I mean, we see hogs. There's hogs. No, that's heating oil. Sorry about that. Look at heating oil. It's trying to break down a little bit. Playing with its weekly this morning. Let's go see what hogs look like. There's Augie hogs. Augie hogs have been in a daily buy from there, but they're in a weekly sell, some much higher. So, and it's just trying to turn there. Matter of fact, it's getting closer. That's for sure. Let's take a look at a back month of hogs. There is October hogs. Let's see what the October hogs. Same thing. Went into a weekly sell, a little bit shorter there. Sell, buy, sell. Let's see what December hogs look like. There's these hogs. Now these hogs were in a weekly buy through all this right here. And Friday it went into a sell. So that's what we're getting here on. No, I guess it was 2 Fridays back and went into a sell. And so this is going on its second week now. So this is starting the 3rd week because this is not updating yet. Or I guess what it is, it hasn't updated there. That's the 17th right there. All right, and we'll go back to the gold and see if we can make any sense out of this. It seems to be showing good life. And let's take a look at the silver. And there we talked about that before, and there it is, you know, inching its way up to now 2013 towards the highs again. You know, just pushing firmer and firmer. And will that put pressure on the dollar? We think yes. We think it will. I think they're selling dollars and buying metals. We'll see. You know, it's hard to say. You know, no one gives us. There's no starting gun like a race where they tell you this is exactly what's going on. You just have to try to see the pricing and the technicals to tell us if it's possible that's what they're doing. All right. Let's see. What else can we say about that? Let's take a look at platinum. I think we were a little surprised at the sloppiness in platinum last week. We did look at it. I think it was on Friday, actually. There's October platinum. And it's showing some life on the daily here. We can grab this one right there. And it closed in a daily buy on Friday. It's still lifting there today. But we're in a weekly sell since here. So we're just back in the zone. It's been been more up than down. I don't know, more down than up. Let's put it this way: it's been pushing to try to go up. Went into the sell here again and didn't really go anywhere. So if we're starting to see buying in the metals, this might be even more affirmation of our silver situation now that it's made it up into the 20s. I mean, it's been a chore to get into the 20s. Let's take a look at that on J4X when it comes to silver. We'll put a weekly up there. There's a weekly chart, and the spot is heading towards 20. It has touched the 70 area, 1970 that is. And you can see here how much of a challenge that is. It challenged it on that high there. And then when it came down from the $50 area, it became a support, and then it fell apart, and then it became a resistance. And so there's a lot of challenge in there to get this thing through the 25s. There's your $50 area, and then it broke back down to it. So, and you can see before it went to 50, it played with that. Let's see if we can make that bigger and then move it over. See, it played with the 20s there too, 1920 area. So this is a really tough area for it to take off on. And we've been, toting that we see the strength in it, and we've been obviously right, and the thing is that it's a scary ride, It's definitely an option play more than anything else, just because of the time of the year and the ability of this product to go $2 or $3 in any direction at any time. More likely $2 down than up. I don't exactly expect to see silver just wake up one morning and go up $2. That would be a lot. That's like a $200 move in gold, But silver is showing lots of strength, and it's battling hard to get up higher and higher and higher. There it is right there. So we will keep an eye on that one. Now, and let's do this. Let's go back to Euro now and just take a look and see the correlation. We'll do this on a daily basis. Boom. Right there. Wow. Euro on the wall. Right there. Let's see if there's any correlation to the weakness or the strength. There it is. And it's dropping off of some of its weakness, it looks like. Let's just take a look at it here. And it's coming off its high. I guess as metals go up, what do they do? So they're buying silver, selling euros? Could be. I mean, I always think that they usually use these metals as a surrogate for currency. But today I'm thinking, with the strength in both, maybe they're buying, metals and selling dollars. But maybe not. Just the fact that we're seeing the euro now lean over. What are they doing to cable? Let's see what they're doing with the cable. These are the two most liquid currencies in the world. That's why we follow them. Now that's holding up at the highs of the day. So, I don't know. Like I said, it's August, it's July, August. It's the vacation time. So this does not have a lot of follow-through traders. You got to be very careful. All right, what else can we look at here? We just looked at the metals. We looked at what did we look at? We looked at the currencies. Now let's drift over to the stock indices. And like I said, if anybody sees anything, we even looked at soybeans this morning. If anybody sees something that they want to talk about or look at, or get an interpretation of, or give us your opinion on, fire away. Now there's the this is the Nasdaq 100, and it's the tech index, the Tech 100, and on Dukascopy, and it is like the hottest of the indices, and showing this pandemic situation, how it benefited it. Went to all-time highs through it all. Sold off and gave us a V bottom. We can show you a weekly thing on that, or we just look at it on a daily. See, let's do it on J4X too. Right there, it's a little bit more visible. J4X. Tech 100. There it is right there. Showing a little strength there again today. And you can see the V bottom. And it's made, that was the old all-time high before the virus, and this is now. It was up there last week, last Monday, I think it was. It was up at all-time highs and then rolled over. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I guess that was last Monday. So it made an all-time high on Monday and has rolled over. And in our work, same situation, but notice we have not gone into a weekly sell still. And you can see we did get into a daily sell last week, and it has not been able to climb out of that. See, it's just right on that edge there. It tried. That's the Friday thing, right? I guess it was Thursday. There's the Thursday thing. It went to the green and a red on Thursday, and then tried lifting, and then failed. Wouldn't give us the buy the next day. The histogram had dropped down, and no dot at all, and minus at the same time. So it was like, oh my God, it's trying to tell you to go sell, not go long, And then this morning they did sell it down, and now you can see it's at the highs of taking out Friday's high. So it is trying. You can see the weekly is dancing its way down again. Maybe it's going to create a new low. Just look at J4X. Look how J4X is digging its heels in at the slow stochastic has hit the bottom. You can see the rate of change is headed hard at the bottom, and the slow stoke is heading there, getting ready to intersect with the fast stoke. So it's trying to say something to us, like what that something is that maybe they're trying to buy it again. Just at the last moment, traders, what happens is that what it really comes down to is at the last moment the reality sets in. That reality is that there's a price, or what do they call it, asset inflation. Asset inflation, okay? And so the asset inflation is pretty much where we are now on our global situation. There are funds that have trillions of dollars and billions of dollars, and they have to invest. That's what their incorporation says they do. They can hedge, but they have to invest too. So you put those two things together, and it puts pressure still on these products they have to own something. They want to get paid next quarter, and they want to get paid and have people invest in their fund. They better be doing something. So they have to be showing them how smart they can be, how they can outperform the marketplace. So there is some buying going on even up at this area because there's asset inflation. And what that asset inflation means is that they're trying to get a return on their asset. And so the fundamentals, how do I say this better? The fundamentals basically don't really rule the market as much as you would think they do, but they do on the level of they try to justify what they're doing. And they go, okay, well, relative to 2 years earnings from now, and they'll buy something. They'll say, we have this, and we're dollar costing averaging, and they'll do all the good excuses. And the end result, they're buying the stuff because they got nowhere else to go. That's what the problem is, and that's what's generating the asset inflation, is that there's nowhere to go. And then the central bank's trying to keep the currencies flat at the same time. So you put the two together, and it really turns it into a montage of bubble. In other words, when you look at the assets and the values, it is a bubble. But, what goes up will keep on going up as long as there is enough energy for escape velocity. And so there is a ton of money out there. I mean, the funds are loaded with cash, and they got to plow something in once in a while. Hopefully they're selling calls and buying puts against it and just at least looking like they're participating. Just looking at the volume, I don't know if that's really happening. If I was running a fund again, that's the way I would do it. I'd be buying stock up in here. I'd be selling calls. Hell, I'd probably be selling like call spreads. I'd be buying puts with the premium. I'd be hedging myself, around, over my dollar cost average of the portfolio. So even if there was a smash, I would still be plus for the year. How these funds can be minus for the year, excuse me, how they can be minus for the year is very confusing in my head. They're using enough money that they should be, basically hedged very well. But you can see from the virus explosion in March, even Dalio, who walked around telling us all that he is a bear, lost $28 billion. How do you lose $28 billion when you're telling everybody you're a bear? So obviously you are not, the modern media refuses to even challenge that. He hasn't been, I haven't seen him on the TV either. He's staying away from the TV now because he's afraid someone will say to him, hey, you were walking around saying you were a bear and you lost $28 billion. What did you do wrong? And I think I told the story about Dahlia, or a friend of mine had an employee that jumped over to Dahlia. And, he'd courted her for to take over in the finance department in the hedge fund for a bunch of years, or a bunch of months, I guess, up to about a year. And she was being paid $6-7 million to work there a year. But she quit last year. She said, this guy's nuts. He's nuts. I can't deal with him anymore. Now, obviously, if you've been being paid $5, $6, or $7 million a year for a bunch of years, you can afford to find something better to do than listen to a crazy man. But it just is obviously evidence that Dahlia is whacked in his philosophy because, he was one of the majors walking around telling everybody, sell this market, it's a bubble, you can't be long, and the market falls 33% and he loses $28 billion. So it's like, why are you walking around telling everybody that? So he obviously was long. He was trying to get people to sell to him. Should be front running, really. Imagine, why is a licensed money manager allowed to go around telling everybody he's bearish and then see a market fall? Why is the SEC charging him? Really. He's obviously talking his book and lying to the public. So that's what that is all about. And that's what we're seeing here with the assets here. They seem to, even when they go into a sell, they don't seem to be able to fall down too much. Matter of fact, if we look at the, let's see if we can find that. Not there. Is it there? Let's look. First, let's do this. Let's go there and look at the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 is cruising basically at its 3-month highs. Not obviously all-time highs, but not. It's only 8 or 9% away from it. It's not that far away. So it's cruising along there. Dow Jones Industrial Average is no. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. That's the Dow Jones Industrial Average is about 8 or 9% away from its all-time highs. This is 4% away from its all-time highs. So, money is slowly leaking into the stock market, no matter what everybody says and how everybody interprets the valuation. They're still inching their way in. Now let's take a look at that on J4X. The S&P 500 there, right there. Now this index is it's bolstered by the Tech 100. That's top 5 stocks. The top 5, I think it's 22% or 28%. It may be 28% of this index is the 5, the value 5 those 5 stocks in the Tech 100. So it's powering the S&P 500 up very aggressively. So you have 495 stocks barely doing anything, and you have the top 5 up tons because they're they're in the know, or let's put it this way, they're in the business that everybody wants them to be in this era of lockdown. So that's why we get this price inflation. And then here's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which had a really good week last week. It was up about 450 points. It outperformed everybody. There it is right there. Outperformed everybody last week. Look at that move. Took out the highs there of 2 weeks ago. and is fighting now to go to the highs of at the end of May. Whereas obviously when you look at S&P 500, it's playing with it right now, and obviously the Nasdaq is the Tech 100 is beyond it of May. That's the highs of May. This thing is way beyond it, even if it's right there of the early June. So, it really says to us that's what asset inflation looks like, and that's exactly what asset inflation is. And it's easier to trade if you understand what's going on there. All right, and at the same time, they become surrogates to some extent. Remember, someone foreign outside the United States with a foreign currency buying these stocks, when he buys or she buys those stocks as a fund, because there are funds outside the United States that are aggressive, and so they're hungry for assets also, and they need some that will go somewhere. And so when they're buying this stuff, that makes them short dollars. Remember, they got to buy dollars in the end, so they use their currency to buy these stocks, but they don't translate it back into, they don't shift it over from dollars. Then what happens is that they need to go in and buy dollars, and that's part of the problem with the dollar. Why it stays so firm. There's a lot of demand for dollars to be in these assets. And I think we saw that when the market collapsed in the very beginning. The first thing we saw was those wild moves. Let's go back to, say, the euro. Those wild moves where it showed incredible amounts of strength. See, this was, where was it? That was February when things got into a panic, and it took off. Then they crushed it, thinking the whole world. Let's see, what's the date there? That's the March. We'll just move it over a little bit more. So that's like the 18th. We put our bottom in the stock market. And so they're buying dollars. I'm sorry, they're buying U.S. assets, and they're short dollars. And then it, does this thing here from it. It comes down. They have to buy those dollars and sell their currency. And so that is part of the movement. And at the same time, when you have the central banks trying to lock the currencies into a range so that they have stability. Remember, that's the number one mission of all the central banks now, the Federal Reserve and the exchequer out of London and the Brussels operation, the ECB, the European Central Bank, and so forth, and then some of these other countries like Canada and Australia and so forth. They're all trying to keep a stability to the currencies. They don't want currencies pushing things around. They want them to be stable. That's the whole name of the game. Because remember, there's pension funds with retiree money in it. And so the last thing they need is to see assets get beat up. So this is the whole issue we go into all the time. And it's just a good reminder to remind everybody that is exactly what's going on. All right. Anybody have anything to ask? Doc is pulling everything out of the hat. I'll pull everything out of the hat. I got a rabbit in there even. I think I have 2 pigeons in the hat. But, doves. I have 2 doves in the hat. So we'll do any magic trick as necessary to try to explain this market. But it would be nice if someone said, hey, I need to figure out what's going on with this. And we all could learn something from it. I learned something from it. So I'm sure other traders do. All right. What's the next thing we're looking at here? So there's the euro. Right now you can see it's rising. And obviously the stock market is going sideways. And now, except for the Dow, which was interesting. The Dow really took off last week. So it's playing the catch up again. There's real rotation going on. I'll finish this off with, there is a lot of rotation with the high techs. In other words, that Tech 100 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's see if we can put one on mine. I'll put the, what do I do here? I'll put the Tech 100 up on there like that. And then what we'll do is we'll put the Dow on this one, on the J4X down below, just for the example of what's been going on and trying to understand how it relates to the currencies. Right there. So you can see here, they're both trying to move. This is moving up and off its bottom, and this thing had done it already, and it sold off just last week, which is basically right here. It sold off. That's the rotation I'm talking about, right there in particular. So this, the Tech 100 went into a sell and sideways and down, and the old stocks, which also have 4 of those majors. Remember, Apple Computer is in the Dow 30. Microsoft is in there. Who else is in there? Intel's in there. Cisco Systems in there. You know, so they have, I think it's 22% of the Tech 100 is in there, something like that. So, you know, there is an influence of the old stocks. So what they want to do is they want to sell these tech stocks, and they want to start picking up some of the old stocks, and that's what they did last week. They really did. They stepped in pretty well. This thing went up, like I said, almost 500 points. You see there from 2,600 all the way up to 2,700 at one point. Let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So on Monday, they started off in the 26, basically the 26, a little underneath 2,600. That was Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday. And by the Wednesday, they topped it out at 27,100 and change. So it went up over 1,000 points. Then they sold it back down again. So that's what they call the rotation. All right. I guess we need to finish this up. We got to come up with a title. Anybody have a title we can use? What should the title be? Let's see if we can find what the title should be. I guess it's just like asset inflation and this week's trading. I like that. Asset inflation and this week's trading. All right. Anyhow, this is Doc from North America, and we will catch you tomorrow. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you